went and picked me up a little Chicago electric welder. It's a wire welder. And, it only cost me $140. Currently, cutting the rust out of the trunk. Okay, we got most of the bad cut out. As you can see, this is your gas tank support. And it is very weak. I could probably, if I wanted to break it, push it in half. We got the fuel sending unit in the tank. And then we're putting on the new hoses. Gotta get those clamped down. Once we finish welding the trunk and all that, we'll be ready to slap this back in there. Should be good to go. Okay, so on these replacement tanks, you just get your fuel neck. It's got this in it. But there isn't actually anything for the cap to screw into. Now, on this tank, there's this little, almost like a cap, which is where your fuel cap screws into. We have no idea if this actually comes off from this fuel neck, but we got it soaking in some PB Blaster, try to lube it up a little bit, and we're going to try to get it off there and see if it's still usable. If not, then we're going to have to put a hold on the project till I can find a cap for it. But we got a clamps on, units in there ready. We've got to splice this wire back in. It goes from the unit up through the trunk by the fuel neck. And then we'll see where we go from there. Alright, while we wait for that cap to soak, I tore out some more chunks around this beam. As you can see, this beam is pretty chewed up by rust. We're going to try to sand it down a little bit. I'm double stacking my sandpaper because there is little pieces still like that. I'm not really wanting to get jagged by it. So we'll clean all this area up a little bit. Well, as far as that fuel neck cap goes, it either don't come off or I'm just doing it wrong. Anyway, this one's beat the piston back. So, racking to the parts before I go. Okay, so if you have a 74 Camaro and you buy the replacement tank from, I think I got it from Rock Auto. It's like $90 or something. They do make a fuel cap. It's updated for it. Just the stamp 10837. I believe that's the part number for it. Got it at O'Reilly's. It was only $9. It screws in there. It's just fine. So, with the updated tank, they have an updated cap. You don't have to worry about the old one. Got our wire wheel cleaned up all around it. Tried to clean those up the best we can. That's what it did look like. So that thing's helping a good bit. We've got some to tear out over here. I'm gonna widen everything around. Instead of having this dip, we're just gonna come straight across. First, we're gonna fix this. What we're gonna do about repairing this is these holes don't matter, and as you can see back here, we got good metal, and back here it starts to be good metal again. So we're gonna take this, and since we're redoing the floor, the height of it don't matter. So we're gonna weld this in about here. We're gonna cut this off, cut the rest of that off, weld it in against this to give it extra support, because your fuel tank straps go into this hole here, and that is kind of connected to the floor, if you can see that little lip there. So if this bar rests in half, it's still technically supported, but you do run the risk, well, in my opinion, of something happening with these straps in your tank fall. And wouldn't be good to have your tank dragging, causing a bunch of sparks while it's got fuel in it. So just as a safety precaution, I'm gonna weld this in, give it a little extra support. And then as far as the height goes, we'll just make our floor flat on top of this. So we'll tack this bar to this bar, and then we'll do our floor as a solid piece across. That way it'll get the floor support, it'll support the gas tank, and it should work out well. If we can just get this, see how much water it's holding? We gotta figure out something to do about that. I mean, my only thing would be, maybe this needs to be higher, but then your trunk won't be able to close. That's what caused the problem. It's a pretty bad design. I mean, you can see it's holding water pretty well. This is where it was repaired before to try to slow it down. But it's gonna need replaced there. Cover that hole up. And then I guess we can drill a hole in the bottom. That way if water does get in, it'll drain out. We've got the bar held in there. Weld it just from that
Better
long.
stay about that far away from the edge. When you're welding, we're gonna have to cut us a piece of metal.
We've got it tacked up in there on both sides. Now we're gonna clean it up. And we got an old Ford hood around the side of the house. We're gonna take the sheet metal out of it. We've got our
See this curve?
outline.
It's gonna go against it right here.
We're gonna go across this line, across, up, and over.
I thought you were just gonna prime right down there. I didn't know you priming the whole thing.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it, and then wherever on the sand wherever we're gonna do that. I'm just getting
Okay.
everything to kind of prevent the rust.
Okay. What do you think?
All right, there's the piece of the hood. It's gonna cover up the hole. Got it bent to that corner, fitting in there pretty nice. I'm gonna go around the little edge of it with this wire brush, give us a clean spot to weld to, and we'll tack it in. Okay, I've got us a spot cleaned up around. Now, just to tack in that one piece, and then see how it looks. Okay, we've got this tacked up. I'm gonna cut out a little bit more and go across here to here, fill in that gap a little bit. Okay, my papa was welding on this and everything, and he had to go, and my brother helped me a little bit, but I've never welded in my life, so don't judge all this shit. But the trunk's in, so I just got to try to clean this up a little bit. Primer it, rubberize coating it. Eventually I'm gonna put a rubber mat in here so you won't even see all this ugly shit, but it ain't going nowhere.